Alisa is the most sought-after girl in the school because of her beautiful looks and because she is half Russian from her father's side. She is an all-around genius with excellent grades in both studies and sports, and starting this year, she is also going to be the treasurer of the student council. Everyone makes way for her as she walks when a senior blocks her path and introduces himself as Andu. He claims that he has heard a lot about her from his sister and asks her out for a date, but the cold-hearted Alisa immediately rejects him in front of everybody. Andu persists and asks her for her number at least, but Alisa tells him that she has no interest whatsoever in his pathetic Discord mod face, completely destroying the man's confidence. She also tells him to take off the chain as it is against the school rules before walking away, while all the students are shocked that she just destroyed the most popular guy in the school. Alisa doesn't give a damn about all this, though, as she enters her classroom and sits down beside her friend, Kuz, who is sleeping on his desk. She kicks the chair, waking him up as she glares at him, asking whether his pathetic ass was watching anime all night again. He tells her that anime is an art form of the gods, and she shouldn't disrespect it, as it has helped several guys escape loneliness, and tells her that he had a fight on Twitter with a neckbeard about whether lolis are legal or not. She doesn't understand his yapping and turns away, but when he starts yawning, she ends up saying something in Russian, which embarrasses her. She claims that it was nothing, after which Kuze starts looking for his chemistry book, realizing that he forgot to bring it. Alisa agrees to share her book, so he moves their table, and the class starts. In the middle, he starts sleeping again while the teacher is asking questions, so Alisa jabs him with a pen, making him jump up in pain. The teacher asks whether he knows the answer, and he is forced to stand up, not even knowing what the question is. He looks towards Alisa, who points at the word copper, and he immediately blurts it out. But it's the wrong answer, after which Alisa stands up and tells them the right answer. They sit down, and Kuze asks why she is making fun of him, but she claims that he should be aware that people can lie. He screams at her for being a bad friend, but she replies with something in Russian, which she claims meant stupid. Kuze, however, is not satisfied, and he repeats the phrase in his mind, only to realize that she called him cute, as she doesn't know that he can understand a little bit of Russian. When he was a kid, there was a Russian girl that moved into his neighborhood, so he ended up picking up phrases from her. Unbeknownst to Alisa, Kuze can basically understand everything she says, but he knows that if he calls her out, she will die of embarrassment. A little while later, the class gets over, and Kuze immediately takes out his phone. Alisa tells him it's not allowed, but Kuze claims that it's an emergency, as he has the chance to get a gift in Genshin. He looks at it before screaming happily that he got the moon goddess, after which Alisa grabs his phone and looks at it to find a silver-haired woman in the game. She hands it back to him while he fawns over the goddess like a total weirdo. Alisa seems to be hurt, as she mumbles in Russian that even she has silver hair. But when Kuz asks what she said, she claims that she called him a try-hard gamer. He tells her that she is wrong as he only plays free-to-play characters, unlike true sweaty tryhards who use pay-to-win characters to play the game. Alisa simply tells him that he will die alone if he stays a shut-in like this before moving away. During the lunch break, Kuze sits with his friends at a table. The bald creep with no bitches is named Takeshi, while the blondie is called Kiyomi. Takeshi keeps yapping about how he has never smelled a girl and will probably die alone when suddenly they spot Alisa and her group of girls in the canteen as they try to look for seats. Kiyomi admires the beauty of the Russian sisters, while Takeshi gossips about how he heard that Maria is dating someone. As she keeps turning down any guy that asks her out, Kuze tells Takeshi that he wouldn't have a chance even if he was the last guy left, while the baldy tells him to shut up and accuses him of being very rude just because Alisa talks to him. Kuze turns to look at her, then tells Takeshi that she mostly snaps at him angrily. But Takeshi is a degenerate who would let girls step on him, so he doesn't mind being verbally berated. He claims that if he had a chance, he would have gone for Suo because she seems to be the most approachable. But Kiyomi brings him to reality, claiming that she is still out of his league and has rejected even more guys than Alisa or Maria. Kuze turns around to see Alisa and Suo walking their way when his eyes meet with Suo, who smiles at him and asks whether she can sit there. He agrees, and Suo immediately takes her seat beside him, while Alisa sits across the table, looking a bit grumpy and disappointed. Suo starts talking to Kuze about their similar ramen choices, and how they both think that the ramen should be made spicier, while Alisa looks at her omelet and starts fuming. She asks Kuze whether he and Suo know each other, and Suo replies that they have known each other since childhood as they went to preschool together and have been friends ever since. Kuze asks Suo whether she is friends with Alisa, but she claims that not yet, but hopefully they will become friends soon. Meanwhile, Alisa looks down and claims that she wouldn't mind. Soon the two third-wheelers move away from the table, while Takeshi tells Kuze to get the dub with these two and leaves. Immediately, Sue shifts towards Kuze, annoying Alisa as she starts asking Kuze whether he wants to join the council as she has offered him a position. Kuze refuses, claiming that he has no interest whatsoever, but Suo persists, claiming that he will be a good fit with herself and Alisa. Moreover, he also has experience being the vice president during middle school. This surprises Alisa, but Kuze claims that during that time, he was the VP while Suo was the president. But it was only because each president had to have a mate with them who could become the VP. Suo turns towards Alisa and tells her that despite how he looks, he still knows how to get work done. But Alisa seems annoyed as she drinks her cola, claiming in Russian that she already knew that and doesn't need her ugly ass to tell her after lunch is over. Suo bids goodbye, leaving Alisa and Kuze alone, and Alisa immediately asks whether they are close. Kuze replies that they are good friends and asks why Alisa looks so surprised. She claims that she never thought any girl would want to be a weeb's friend, but he points his finger at her, claiming that she is a girl and his friend. Alisa is taken aback and claims that she is indeed his friend before walking away, saying that she forgot something in the office later that night. Kuze ends up dreaming about his childhood and the Russian girl with whom he would play every single day, as she taught him how to speak a little bit in Russian. She didn't know any Japanese, so Kuze ended up forcing himself to learn Russian just to talk to her. He wakes up from the dream with a sad face, as he realizes that at this point, he doesn't even remember her name. After that, he didn't go to sleep, but instead decided to head over to school, where he ended up cleaning everything in his classroom. By the time Alisa arrived, the classroom was shining, and Kuze tells her that he woke up early and had nothing to do. She walks over to her desk, and Kuze notices that she has a stain on her socks. Alisa explains that while walking, a truck ran over a puddle and splashed her, but she has extra socks, so it doesn't matter. After that, she looks at Kuze and asks whether he really doesn't want to join the student council. Kuze replies with a sigh that he indeed doesn't have any interest in the council. She looks a bit disappointed, but then she pulls off her sock and notices Kuze looking away. Immediately she decides to mess with him a bit and tells him to bring a spare sock from her locker. He averts his eyes and gets the sock from the locker, but Alisa tells him to put it on her feet. He is shocked at that, but Alisa claims that it must be a treat for a creep like him, and Kuze realizes that it indeed is a treat, when suddenly Alisa speaks under her breath in Russian about how it is a treat for her as well. What a diabolical plan. Kuze starts psychoanalyzing her behavior and wonders whether she is a perfectionist who is using Russian with him to feel a little free or just some kind of exhibitionist. Anyhow, he drops down to his knees and grabs her feet, shocking Alisa, who didn't think he would do it. She starts squirming away, but he holds her feet tightly and starts sliding on the sock, slowly. While pulling it up, he accidentally touches her thigh, which gets him a swift kick to the face, knocking him out while Alisa quickly gets up and scurries away. Later that day, he texts his League of Legends forum about how he might have a thing for feet when he notices that Alisa still seems a bit mad. She walks out, and he follows her, immediately apologizing for his actions. She turns around and tells him that it was actually her fault, as she kicked him and tries to touch his neck, asking whether he is hurt. He immediately backs off, embarrassed, claiming she has nothing to apologize for, as she showed him a peek of the promised Neverland. Alisa suddenly realizes what he is talking about, while Kuze wonders why he is so stupid. Even after that, he bows down and thanks her for the spectacular view, which gets him a punch to the face, knocking him down. She starts running away, calling him a creep in Russian, but he gives chase, following her while she tells him to get lost. After a while, he catches up to her and offers her her favorite cola as a peace offering. She takes a sip and asks in Russian whether he wants a sip. He ends up chickening out and pretends not to understand what she said, while Alisa smiles and claims in Russian that she can express her feelings in Russian, which he will never understand. Meanwhile, Kuze stands there thinking that he knows Russian very well, but decides to keep it a secret for now, to see what her true feelings are. There you have it, dear viewers. We've reached the end of today's episode. If you're excited for the next part, Hit the like button and share the video everywhere, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel in appreciation of my efforts.